Okay, so we're live now?
Yes.
Okay, so it's 7 o'clock, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm going to take attendance. I can see everybody basically, but I'll get you to say you're here. Sandy?
Here.
And Dan?
Present.
And Heather?
Here.
Hi, Heather. Okay, next item on the agenda is written disclosure or of pecuniary conflict of interest. Does anyone have any disclosure? Councillor Croft?
No.
Councillor Maxwell?
No, I don't.
And Councillor Olmsted? No?
No.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is petitions and delegations, of which we have none. After that, we have reports from municipal officers, of which we have none. And number 5, after that, we have reports from committees, of which we have none. And then we come to number 6, action letters. And this is to continue with the process of developing a municipal strategic plan. That's why the meeting was called tonight. So in our council package, there was a workbook, okay, that Cindy put together for us. And in there were 4 different plans from other municipalities that we could take a look at and see what we liked and what we didn't like. At the bottom of them on page 4, is there anything that anybody wants to talk about those plans? Councillor Croft? No. Councillor Maxwell?
Page 4.
Well, they were on page 3 and 4.
Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found that there was only really one that the other ones, the first one seemed to be the closest to us. The other ones were kind of big cities, right? So.
Yeah. Did you have any comments you wanted to make on those, Councillor Maxwell?
No, I did like the one for Sudbury for some reason. There's something there that I liked about it. What was it now?
Okay.
But that's all. Nothing further than that.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor Olmsted?
I like the municipality of tie-in as well. It was good, but I did like the effort that Sudbury put into it, that they had a 2-day seminar and had everybody involved in the plan, which I was a fan of that.
Yeah. Okay. At the bottom of page 4, there were 2 questions, then the third question was at the top of page 5. So I'd like to know what you would like to call our plan. Do we call it a work plan or a strategic plan or something else? Councillor Croft?
I liked the strategic goals.
Okay.
Or direction. I like those 2 words. Or we could just keep it simple and call it the plan.
Okay. Councillor Maxwell?
I like strategic plan as well. The goal sounds okay as well. And I think that, and I don't know if you want to ask the number of years that should go as well, if you're asking that, but I do see that we have this. I think it has to be a longer term plan that we probably, I don't know if we can get this done by the time our term is up. So I think we have to be looking farther with reviewing by each council. We'll review it, but I think we have to establish a basic plan that works for future councils as well. And they can look at it, but I don't think you have to reinvent this wheel every time the new council gets in. I hope not, anyway.
Okay,
That's
so
all.
you're thinking of maybe 5 years or longer?
Yeah, 5 or 10 years are 2 different goals.
Okay, and Councillor Olmsted?
Yeah, exactly the same. I like goals as well. Um, it can't be done in 4 years, some of these things, and we need to make this more of a perpetual document so they don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I'd like it to
Mhm.
be a perpetual document, right? Just something they can build on.
Okay. So you're
And like, yeah,
thinking
10
like
years.
5 years or more?
Yes, more. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the Wishart webinar. Okay. In there, they talked about a term plan as well as like a strategic plan, and their term plan was like to the end of our council period, and then the strategic plan would be farther. So like short-term goals, long-term goals kind of thing. And I think Councillor Maxwell mentioned that already. Then on the top of page 3, there's it says circle of words from the following list that you associate with what we as council will be setting. Okay. So there was 8 different phrases or words there, and we could even add our own for that matter. Did you have any that stood out with you, Councillor Croft?
Well, the strategic goals or direction. Um,
Okay.
I think using the
Councillor
word
Maxwell?
plan.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. I think
go
using the
ahead.
word plan makes it sound like we have it all done and figured out. So that's why I thought, goals and directions seems like it's more of a working document type thing, right? So those were the reasons why those two really stood out for me.
Okay. Anything further?
No.
Councillor Maxwell?
I'm probably thinking along the same lines as well. Goals and directions are the 2 words that seem to be. I like directions more because it's ongoing. It keeps going.
Yeah. Councillor Olmsted?
I agree with directions as well. And I did have objectives because there's some pertinent things that I guess for the short-term goals.
Yeah, I had objectives as well. Anything else, Councillor Olmsted?
Nope, that everything said.
Okay. Before we get into a little bit farther, I just want to draw everybody's attention to the dates on page 5. Okay. So tonight we're sitting at April the 6th, and we're going to try to focus this meeting on where the municipality of Calvin is at now and where we'd like to go. And we're meeting to review council priorities versus the input received from the citizens. And we're going to begin to develop a list of our strategic initiatives. Okay, so that's where we are tonight. Then our next meeting will be on June the 1st, at which time we'll develop a list of our strategic initiatives. And then there'll be a couple meetings after that. We're hoping to have the plan approved by mid-December, December the 7th. We'll see how well we do with that. On the next page, page 6, there was our mission and vision statement was there. And we were asked to take a look at it and think that if it was still appropriate for us or if we would like to see any changes made to that. Councillor Olmsted, did you see anything there? Are you happy with what we have? Or
I'm happy with what we had. Yeah, we thought long and hard about that, and I'm happy with our wording. And our,
okay, thank you. Councillor Maxwell?
Happy with both the mission statement and the vision statement, the way they are.
Okay. Okay, Councillor Cross.
I was happy with them. I was a little, I don't know, something kind of stood out to me a little bit about talking about the heritage and culture. Maybe just because I don't have a connection with that here for myself. I'd like to definitely know that that's how, you know, our residents feel as well. But otherwise, I really liked it. I just hope that those are very important to our residents as well.
Yeah, I think they are. I think we have quite a few different groups within the municipality. I read through it and I was kind of being maybe picky a little bit. And the to build, I thought that maybe, and it'd be up to everyone here, I thought that we change that to continue building a strong, rural, and safe community. And then at the end of the first, second, third line, through collaboration with our neighboring communities, I would kind of like to see through collaboration and resource sharing with our neighboring communities in there.
That sounds fair to me.
But that's up to everyone, right?
It's a good point.
Are you okay with that suggestion, Councillor Olmsted?
Yeah, I think it's a good point.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes, I'm fine with those.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Cross?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody have any changes they'd like to see to vision statement? Councillor Maxwell has always suggested that he likes what he sees. Councillor Cross?
No, I liked it the way it was.
And Councillor Olmsted?
Yeah, I like it the way it is.
As well, I do as well. Okay. Then the next part 2, input to the planning process. There's one. The first question there is input to the planning process, and please list the issues and priorities you have been made aware of by citizens since 2018 electoral campaign process. Do you have any that you'd like to add there, Councillor Olmsted?
Well, Castle Home has always been the bane of everybody's existence. They'd like to see that resolved, especially with the Mattawa nursing home, and how we can get out of that. And I know we're working towards that, but that's a very constant conversation.
Yeah. Anything else, Councillor Olmsted?
Just little stuff, but nothing worth noting like Castle Home. No, that's good. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Cross?
I actually had Castle Home on the second one. The one that I have heard the most about is either programs for the elderly or the roads, like the hard surfacing. But the main thing I've always heard is the way things used to be, things that used to happen down at the hall. The use of the community center. That's the big thing that I hear a lot of.
I hear that as well. Councillor Maxwell?
To be honest, I haven't heard a lot of issues brought forward to me as a councillor from the since been elected. So I don't have anything there. There's a lot of issues, all right, but use of the hall, Castle Home. But I think people in general are fairly happy with the way things are going in Calvin. I think they appreciate the low taxes that Calvin is kind of known for. A little bit. People know of relatives in other areas that are paying much more tax than they are, and I think they like that idea of the tax rate being low. That's the only thing I heard about is maybe the tax rate. People were happy last year when they got a tax break. That was they did compliment us on that. But I haven't heard a lot of complaining, to be honest, about the roads. People generally are fairly happy with the roads and other things. So I don't have too much to add there.
Okay. I know there was discussion about after COVID ends, and it wasn't about after COVID ends, but it was about video access at council meetings, so that people at home, okay, who were not housebound, but who maybe didn't want to travel in the cold or rainy weather, that could sit down in front of their computer and watch a meeting rather than come out for it. You know, that was one thing that was brought up at some of the meetings. So I think that's all I could think of there. On the next one, it says the municipality must comply with various pieces of legislation. Accordingly, please identify major issues or obligations in complying with legislation that you believe are currently facing the municipality. Councillor Maxwell.
This one, I think one of the major issues that I guess it's legislation is the need to have our asset management plan. And so we have to put all this money away for future purchases. It looks like we almost have to have it saved in full by the time we purchase it, by the time it is needed. So all this putting this money away for the future is it puts a short-term burden on the taxpayer that they don't really see the benefits from. I think that's a challenge for us to establish all these accounts that have to be reserve accounts to pay for tractors and trucks and everything else that's going to come down in the future in advance, which is not too many people can afford to do that. Most people have to mortgage a car when you buy a car. Most people go out and pay cash for a car, but it seems like we're supposed to save our money and then go and pay cash for everything when it's ready. And that one seems to bother me, especially when it comes to budgeting planning. And of course, Castle Home, and as a third, Castle Home, for obvious reasons, it's just our big bill. And police services too, we have no control over that. They set their rate of how much they want to increase their pay, and we just have to pay it. And I find that one is a bit out of our hands as well. We're at mercy to it. So I have
the levy you're talking about?
Yeah.
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 Councillor Olmsted?
Well, DSAB, for as little services as we have out here, why are we paying for big cities and ambulances when we don't live there? Well, why do our taxes and levies are so high and higher than others is just beyond me. That was the one bane for me, and also Castle Home. And I agree with Dan.
Anything else, Councillor Olmsted?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Councillor Cross?
All of the points the other councillors have said are very valid, and I agree with them. They're all written down on my list as well. Police services, DSAB, Castle Home. It is hard to put money aside and justify it to our residents, but I think also when you do go to purchase something, you need to have a down payment, and saving up for those down payments, knowing full well that we have a fire truck or potentially a staff vehicle, or something goes wrong with a building, we need to have those funds there, or even ready. We talk a lot about ready. What was that? When you say
shovel ready.
No, that's right. Shovel-ready projects. Usually shovel-ready projects also means funds for those projects. So, I mean, just like people save up for retirement, we need, as a municipality, we need to save up for future costs, future purchases. Yeah. And one of the other big things on here for me is that has been brought up a lot is the landfill. Coming up with a better plan, a project for that. That's a big one as well.
Okay, thank you. I had thought of Castle Home as well, Algonquin Nursing Home levy when we get out of the Castle Home levy. It's just going to continue from one institution to another. I don't know if it'll be the same amount or not, but then I think we need to put some money away for, again, it's money, training for council, for different things to help us out during going forward in meetings and developing bylaws and plans for our future in the municipality. Next item we have here is, while council members serve a 4-year term, it is important to ensure continuity with the work plans of previous councils. Accordingly, please list priorities or initiatives that you view as unfinished business stemming from previous council. Can you think of any, Councillor Cross?
Castle Home. Castle Home is the biggest one. I can't think of any other unfinished business from previous council. I'd like to think that anything that we take on or decide we're going to do is going to be small baby steps, not big projects that we can't fulfill, or slow and steady, I think, is the way to go. But I don't, besides Castle Home, I can't think of anything that was unfinished besides, us saving up for infrastructure. That's it.
Councillor Olmsted?
Castle Home and Stewart's Road. It seems to be a perpetual problem for like over a decade now.
Yeah, I agree.
Those are my only two.
Okay. Councillor Maxwell?
You got one. You got Stewart's Road. For obvious. I know. I think the last time, so I think they believe they dealt with it. But it's not going away. It's still coming back as a. That's it. Just Stewart's Road.
Yeah. I think in one of our meetings with E4M, I don't know who the gentleman was, he said he might have some solutions for us. It might be worthwhile asking what those solutions would be, depending on the cost of them, of course. I have Stewart's Road on my list as well. And I also had transparency. Before, well, I was on the old council as well, and there seemed to be a lot of conversation about closed meetings and the council not being transparent. And we've had, I think, a lot more closed meetings during this term than what the former council had. And I think that there might be maybe a fear, maybe fear is not the right word, but a reluctance, okay, to maybe say what's on everybody's mind now, depending on how it might be interpreted. by the public or by council or by staff. And I don't think that's a good thing. I think we have to do something to develop a relationship amongst us so that we can have frank and open conversations and not be afraid of how someone's going to feel or think. And we should be open to, when we're saying what's on our mind, be open to having someone ask us a question about why we said that or what we meant by that, just so there are no misconceptions amongst us. I don't know how we're going to do that. There was a suggestion, again, EM4 suggested, one lady there, I think it was at the last meeting or the meeting before, suggested that she'd be willing to sit down with each of us individually or as a group. I think she was a psychologist or something like that. So maybe we can look at that going forward too. Okay? Just my thoughts. I don't know if you agree or not, but
I agree.
just shooting that out there. Right?
No, thank you.
Then I think we get down to number 1, Roman numeral 1, under A of the action letters. Was to review the SWOT analysis results. So that would be on pages 9, 10, 11, and 12 of the workbook that we were provided last week. I don't know how everyone looked at it, and there's a lot of items there, right? There were some that were suggested by council, some that were suggested by staff, and then others that were suggested by ratepayers, okay, through our 2 polls, wrong word, requests for input from them. Are there's a lot just go through in a list, just for me to read or whatever. Are there any in there that, Heather, please, go ahead.
Hi. I had a question about the town lake dock, though. Is that Bonfield? Is that
We've never really determined that, I don't think.
Yeah,
we
like
need a survey
think
there.
that's...
Right?
Okay,
we do have
I'm
residents
thinking...
on town and on Catacomb Bay, but I don't know who owns that dock. Cindy, please,
Cindy.
if you have information.
The land, the dock itself, nobody really knows or wants to take responsibility for the dock because it's falling apart. The land itself that the dock is on is owned by the provincial park.
Oh.
It's kind of the thought process in the past, and this is in the past, not necessarily now, but in the past, the thought process was that it would be shared between the municipality of Bonfield, the municipality of Calvin, and the Cottagers Association, the people that actually live on Lake Talon. We'd all sort of share in the cost for the dock, but it's never actually been determined because each of the municipalities don't have the right to build a dock there because they don't own the property, and nor does the Cottage Association. So, but the provincial government or the Ontario Parks doesn't really want to do anything there either. They don't have the funds to spend any money on it. So it's unfortunately right now it's kind of at a stalemate where we were back in the fall. We were looking at options for funding. There was some potential Trillium funding that could have been applied for. Hopefully there will be other funding opportunities in the future that maybe we can, between the 3, because it really doesn't look like the Ontario Parks people are all that interested. Essentially what we'd have to do is the two municipalities and the Cottagers Fund would have to make the plans, and then we would essentially get the permission from Ontario Parks to rebuild the dock there.
I think there was an
I have to have a
indigenous
look at it.
there as well, right? Who are willing to contribute. I'm not sure what that group was. I don't know if they were Métis or if it was Algonquin or what, but there was one of the indigenous groups where that did show some interest. So. Okay.
Just one other thing, sorry if I may, Mayor Pennell, just, it's quite a popular spot for people to put their boats in. And based on the feedback that I've received, parking is also an issue there.
Yeah.
So it would become quite a project. It wouldn't just be replacing the dock. It would be trying to develop some kind of parking for people, because right now, from what I've heard, there's been some altercations that have taken place at the landing when you put your boat in, between people, because people have taken too much parking spot, or they've parked in the wrong way and people can't, unload their boat, or, I've heard a number of different things. So if we're going to look at it as a project, we would also need to look at some kind of parking, developing some kind of parking there. I'm not sure where, because there's not really all that much room, but it is an issue.
That was always a busy spot even when I was a kid, right? I mean, like 10 years old. There was the parking, it was always full down there. Even the road up from the dock around the corner, there was vehicles parked there. Anyway.
Well, I guess it's been ignored for a long enough time. Maybe we should try and do something about that as a project.
Yeah, but we don't own the land, right?
True.
I believe that we could be supportive in that project, but as a third party, I think that most of the cottages are in Bonfield Township, and so perhaps Bonfield and even the Cottage Association can be the lead in that, and we could be supportive and providing some equipment or something like that. But I don't see funding the spearheading the project. I think it's one of the other two partners should spearhead it if they want to go ahead with that. Or the other four, I guess it'd be four partners, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's good luck trying to get the parks people to move.
Yeah. I don't think there's any motivation to do that, right? Like, it's okay as it is. They kind of like things to go back to the wetlands, like the old way, the
Undeveloped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one never knows. Right? All you have to do is talk to the right person at the right time. So I guess we all went through the list. Were there any in there that popped out at you guys? I'll start with Heather.
Well, although I do appreciate their input, that we can't put animosity from council and stuff like that on strategic plans because it's a perpetual document. I do understand, and we will address that, I guess, with E4M, I think. Most of the things are pretty accurate. The Eau Claire Gorge is another thing. It could be an asset if we invest some energy to the gorge. I always thought a ziplining thing would do so well in there. People will travel from all over.
But again, it's not our property.
No. But people put it as it needs a lot of work, and they don't seem to be doing anything, and a lot of people access it.
Yeah.
Another thing that took the grave digging. I didn't know we did it by hand.
Mm-hmm.
Is there
Well,
a
they use a
reason for that?
Oh, and then hand to hand.
Oh, okay.
They finish it off by hand. I think it depends how close they are to another grave as well. But go ahead, please, Cindy.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the circumstances. If it's close to one of the laneways where they can use a backhoe, then they do. But if it's in the middle of the cemetery, can't really put a backhoe on top of other graves and start digging. If you hit other, you can't. So some of it
No,
has to
yeah.
be done by hand.
That would be a long job.
It's sandy there. It's not too bad.
Okay.
Luckily, it's a sandy area.
Yeah.
But
Probably why they chose it.
I thought you were saying that I was there. I'm just like, what do you mean? She's like, I'm not in the grave yet.
Anything else, Heather?
No, that's it.
Councillor Maxwell.
yeah, they're all good. I'd like to know how much response did we get to on this this call for comments there, because the comments are kind of they're all good. But I was surprised. The one that stuck out to me were the ones something from an employee that the one that Heather just mentioned, and that they're being publicly humiliated. I thought that was a bit. Wasn't aware of that. And it goes on under the threats. It also says that staff burnout may lose staff if working relationships with council is not mediated. Lost trust with the public. I'm not aware of these situations because of COVID. I personally don't see any staff people, and I'm not aware that it's that bad of a working place. Maybe I need to be enlightened in that area, or if there really is a problem, I guess we should look at that. But someone obviously is not happy. Staff morale is very low, it says. But I don't know if maybe nobody filled this out, maybe just staff did it. And do you know what the reply was on this survey, this analysis, Cindy? Did we get many replies back?
Not as many as the survey that we did, but it was across the board. There was some public input, there was staff input, and there was council input.
All good information.
Nothing else, Councillor Maxwell?
No.
Councillor Cross, did I ask you yet?
No. I mean, there was a lot of valid, I mean, on the, the strengths, there was, I mean, not one that I disagree with, pretty much. I mean, the external stuff, there was a few questions I had, like access to more local lakes, like Crooked Lake and Johnson's Lake, and I'm not sure how we would do that. The thing about exploring possibilities of a buying group, I like that idea, but do we have anything in mind of what we would be buying? What was the other one here? Easier. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Cindy.
I just wanted to comment. At the last council meeting, I brought forth some information from AMO, a group from AMO that does group buying.
Yes.
I have explored it further because council was interested in it and approved me doing so. Essentially, it's pretty much anything. So it can be sand, gravel, office supplies, trucks, tires, pretty much anything you can think of.
Like buying in bulk then, kind of thing.
Yeah. So really that particular point, we're already exploring.
Okay. I just was wondering if they had something in mind of what, what was the other thing here? Increase rentals of the recreational facilities. I think we did that already. And easier to get involved in the community volunteering. I'm not sure what that means.
What's it under? Is strength still, or?
Yeah, it's, yeah, under external, yeah, external strengths. They're saying that it's easier to get involved in community and volunteering. I didn't, what was the other one? There was a comment made that council allows the facility for free too much. Or is that that wasn't a strength, was it? No, that was a weakness. Focusing on the problems of some and neglecting the responsibility to look out for the community as a whole. That was a comment that I wasn't very happy to see. And the big question I have here is too many projects on the go at the same time and not enough resources. We don't have any projects on the go right now, do we? I didn't think so. No, okay. There was a lot of very good comments in here. Some I'm not sure were or what they mean, and then there's other things that I think we definitely can look at. There's just a lot. We need to narrow it down.
That's what we're supposed to do kind of tonight a little bit.
Okay. Where do we focus on? That's the, so it goes back to what we got.
I was thinking we'd all go through the list and everyone would say what we thought our priorities would be. Right? I don't know any other way to do it.
So do we give our top 5 then?
I think that's a good start, yeah. I think that's a great.
So, okay. So for my top 5 for strengths, the strong clerk treasurer, fire services, travel and tourism, seasonal residences, and culture. So it's kind of like summarizing everything because, you know, it's the top of the, you know.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm missing one. Can you repeat what you said, please?
Oh, strong U, fire services, travel and tourism, seasonal residents, and culture.
Okay, thank you.
So basically, you know. You're welcome. And for my weaknesses, I put, because animal control was on there, sports, animal control, sports and recreation, economic development, police services, and that was my personal thing, and continuity, senior services. I'm going too much. So senior, police, development, and sports and recreational. That's it. This is my
Do you have a number that you'd like to say, Sandy? Doesn't have to be 5, it could be more.
No, the staff, the fire department, the municipal roads, I think, are very important. The hall and the playground and the ball fields, I think that is our one of our biggest assets. And tourism, you know, else do we have to draw here? Whether it be drawing people to move here or drawing economic development. I think it's starting off with some sort of tourism, drawing people to get here, letting people know where Calvin is.
I was surprised to hear this, not even on the map.
We need some promotion, right, for Mistalty.
Yeah.
That was part of the Bonfield Mattawa Economic Development,
Yep.
but that's long gone.
Done.
Did you have 5 weaknesses, Sandy?
Well, money, lack of money. That's, I mean, that's I think our biggest weakness because it hits so many different aspects of here where it becomes, do we raise taxes? Do we not buy a fire truck for another 10 years? I mean, it all revolves around how do we, get more money for infrastructure, for roads, even programs for the elderly or the kids. I mean, we need to somehow think out of the box and start coming up with a way to generate some revenue for our community. That's a whole other subject, I'm sure, though.
Anything further, Sandy?
No.
Councillor Maxwell.
I think for my strengths, I would say, just doing this kind of quickly because I actually have 5. So, but the low taxes and safe community is a strength with us, and clean air and the environment. I think remember we also have to consider the survey that we did as well, and there was a lot of comments in the survey about the lifestyle and the environment and clean air, fresh air. I also have I also have policies and procedures as one of our strengths. I think we've been working really hard on our term in developing policies. I feel we have anyway, and we've just purchased that big rack of policies that we should have coming in. That should take care of a lot of things for us. So I think we'll be in good shape with policies if those policies are good. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, the roads department is always is a big beneficial. I think it is a great asset that we have. It's well maintained. We have control over it, and we can really manage that one well with the needs that we have. And fire services, of course, is a little gem that we have. For the size of our community, I think it's nice that we have these services such as fire department. And I have a landfill as well as a benefit, as a strength. We actually own a landfill site, and we're managing it the way we are. And that's some of the strengths I see from that list. Maybe adding a bit more. Some of the weaknesses, the staff comments. So this low morale with the staff, that's definitely a weakness. And the fact that we don't have any high-speed internet yet. The internet is still a problem for a lot of people who need to work from home or who have opportunities for jobs that are required that they have high-speed internet and who are unable to apply for those jobs if they live in our community. The rising costs of operating costs is a big challenge for us. We're downloading the province and rising costs. And with limited funds, I guess that's the same thing, limited funds for projects, the rising costs. And I have one that wasn't on the list here, but I have an integrity commissioner as a weakness. It's that it creates a lot of division amongst the community and council, I feel, and that coping with the integrity commissioner has been something that's been it's been a weakness. It's caused a lot of taking a lot of energy away from the council and from staff, and taking the focus away from doing the good things that we've been doing. That's all I have.
Okay. I had more than 5. Anybody?
Okay.
Anybody surprised? I had staff, fire services, and roads as very positive. Okay, and also large and well-maintained community hall with playground, ball field, and ice rink. We take care of it all really well. Nobody uses it anymore. Not quite sure why. Well, COVID hasn't helped. That's for sure, but a lot of things nowadays are affected by insurance, okay? Whether it be ball games, soccer games, weddings, any use of the hall, it's all insurance, and it's costly, so people are reluctant to do that, right? In the old days, you could come out and have a couple beer and then drive it home at the end of the night. Now you can't, because if you do that and you happen to go through a ride, then there's the penalties to pay, right? So it kind of puts a cramp on the old days. I also had council was committed to keep financially responsible, okay? And I think we kind of showed that last year. And I'm sure we'll work at doing the same thing this year. I looked at, there was one here about involvement in veterinary assistance program for large animals. We do that already, all right? Hiring students as a first job opportunity. I think that if we can, we should do that within the municipality for grounds care, shoveling the rink, working at the landfill. And that was all I had for that. For opportunities, I think we really need to work with providers to develop broadband within the municipality, and we are working with Blue Sky, and we just kind of signed a letter with Bell to see if they could do something for us. Spectrum, I haven't seen them doing anything lately, but I see all around us there's 3 towers just going up, I think, is it Magnetawan? It just got announced yesterday. Spectrum's got about 3 towers in Magnetawan to enhance their connectivity there. So hopefully that'll happen around here as well. I think we need to also, because our road superintendent is going to be retiring in a year and a half, I think we need to look at perhaps establishing CAO, okay? That was recommended by E4M as well, so that none of the staff would report directly to council. They would report to the CAO, and the CAO would report to council. That would make the performance management and the chain of command a lot stronger. I think we need to look at that. As far as access to more lakes, that'd be really good, okay, but it's all a pretty costly adventure. Like, we'd have to develop Latimer Lane further to get down to Johnson Lake. Blue Lake is closed. The ministry closed that road up, so you can't really get in there anymore. Crooked Chute, we do have access to it, but that will be really a real financial burden to develop that road down at the Narrows. As far as weaknesses, I agree we need to put funds aside for departmental vehicles and equipment purchases, the staff morale. I think we need to look at some training, so lack of professional development for staff, leadership development, and council. I didn't quite understand the limited land base for expansion. I know there's no real land for sale in a municipality. And then very little support for existing or new businesses. I think if there's something we're missing there, we should do that. But I'm not business savvy, and I don't know what those things would be. If it would be to, I don't know what it would be. And we do have a business owner on council, maybe, or two,
Yeah.
actually. So maybe they could make some suggestions as far as that, right? Our landfill attendant is retiring soon. That's kind of a weakness for us. We have to do something there. And then we need to do something for our vehicles, right? Fire trucks. That's pretty much all I had. Anybody have anything else they want to interject? Councillor Cross.
It's funny that, oh, sorry.
I had put my hand up about the existing support for new businesses, because that was something that I was actually talking about today. I had come across another municipality's website, and they monthly put out a letterhead or a little blurb about existing businesses in their municipality. I think that we could do the same, a directory for businesses also. I think we should really use our website as much as we can. I think promoting the people that live here in their businesses would be very beneficial on both parts. It would draw in tourism. It would, it helps out people with their businesses. It could, create jobs. There's a number of different things I think that could be looked at on that one.
Councillor Olmsted?
Oh, I was just gonna make a comment that it's funny because I put landfill as a threat and Dan put it as a as a strength, because I think it's gonna close, but maybe with his ideas, we can make it a strong thing.
It's both, actually. Yeah, it is both.
It is, yeah, it's funny.
The landfill is an asset, but filling too quickly is the weakness. Landfill filling up too quickly is the expense.
Agreed.
Did you have anything further, Councillor Maxwell?
In terms of business, I don't have too much to offer in business. I find that at the municipality level for business is not usually where any support comes from. It usually come from the upper levels of government with their programs, like with their help they've had with COVID. It's been really good with assistance and wages, and they've done really well. All levels of government. With the municipality, it's mostly taxes that we look at with business. Property taxes are a little bit high on commercial properties than they are in the neighboring Papineau. For some reason, Papineau's commercial taxes are the same as the residential, and Calvin is commercial taxes are double residential.
Really?
I'm not sure. Yeah. So, but I'm maybe getting an area of conflict of interest there, so it's just for information only. You can put that forward as a.
Okay. I think everybody's had a chance to, we've got a list together. Next step is for, I think we're at item number 3 now on that list.
Which page is
Would
that?
you agree? Cindy, would
The
you agree?
agenda page.
The agenda
Yeah?
here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to miss anything here, so.
So- Sorry, Mayor Pennell, do you
for
mind if I just ask a question? So based on what council has told us here with everybody's top 5 of strengths and weaknesses, do you want me to put this together in a list so that at the next meeting, council can review this and then pick? Because you're not going to be able to do 20 different things. I mean,
No.
I know there's some overlap, but you're going to have to choose some
Yeah.
directives or goals for the strategic plan, what we want to concentrate on, or even if you want to break it up into years, like you said, you know, 5+ years or, you know, something. So in these years, in the next 5 years, we're going to work on these goals, and then, you know, 5 to 10, these are sort of the goals that we were looking at, sort of thing. How would you like this set up?
I'd just like to see a list that we could pick out the most important ones. Say top 5 or 6 most important ones. But that's just me. Councilor Maxwell.
Yeah, I like that idea. Also, I think that the information we collected in the survey was very relevant as well, and it seemed to be, it's not the same information that's on the page here tonight, but that was a big document that had a lot more people's input in. So the information that we had highlighted in the survey that we thought came through would be good information to be considered as to how we move forward with the plan.
Councilor Olmsted?
Well, I agree. That sounds like a good idea. Amalgamate the two kind of thing, because yeah, Dan's right. We had a lot more response from the survey as well. I don't know how hard that's gonna be for you, Cindy. I don't know.
Councilor Cross?
No, all ideas are good.
Okay. Do you have what you need to move forward, Cindy?
Yes, I think so. I'll put together a list for the next council meeting. I will do my best to incorporate what was in the survey results and put that into the list of things that council has put as their top 5s for everything. So I'll try my best to amalgamate the two as much as possible, but concentrating on what was discussed tonight in terms of goals and things like that.
Okay. So is that B? Is that B?
Yes,
Rest of
that would,
stuff?
yeah.
Okay.
And I also made up this motion.
Okay.
As long as council is in agreement with what's written there, then we could use this as our next step.
Okay, so let's get a mover and a seconder on this so we can discuss it further. Councilor Olmsted, can you move this one, please?
Yes.
And Councilor Cross, could you second it, please?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a resolution moved by Councilor Olmsted, seconded by Councilor Cross, that the next meeting for the development of the municipality of Caledon strategic plan be held June the 1st, 2021, as a special meeting of council. And the directives to the clerk treasurer tonight, based on the information provided by council at this meeting, develop a draft list of the strategic initiatives of council to be brought to the next strategic plan meeting on June the 1st for further discussion and finalization. Any discussion? Councilor Maxwell.
There was one other question on the form on the package we had that asked where are we going in part 4, where are we going? And where we want to be in 5 years. I don't know if that was part of tonight's discussions or not, but I do think the CAO idea is a strong idea, and I think that's one of the areas that I would like to see us have in place in 5 years from now. We have a CEO managing the township.
I think we might have to do it before that, because if Chris leaves in a year and a half, then we're going to need, I think that's the ideal time to do it. I'm not sure when he's going to leave, but I think he said July in a year and a half, like a few months ago.
Yeah, somebody's 65.
I think I remember October.
October? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a great idea as well. Anything else, Councillor Maxwell?
No, nothing else.
Councillor Cross?
No, nothing else.
Councillor
Nothing else.
Olmsted?
I just muted myself. Muted
Pardon?
myself.
Oh, no, that was
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Okay, so let's take a vote on this, okay? Councillor Cross, you vote yes or no with the directives above to the clerk treasurer.
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted, you vote yes or no?
Yes.
And Councillor Maxwell, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. We should probably take Councillor Grant off of here. Right? Okay, thank you. So this resolution is carried. Thank you. So we'll move on to item 7, which is information letters, and there are none. 8 is information letters available, which there are none. 9, old and new business, which there is none. A council approval report, and there's none. There's no closed portion, so there's no business arising from a closed session. There's no notice of motion, so the next item on the agenda is adjournment. Do we have a resolution for that? So I'll need a mover and a seconder for this. Councillor Maxwell, can you move this, please?
Yes, I can.
And Councillor Olmsted, could you second it, please?
Yes, I will.
Okay, we have a resolution moved by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Olmsted, that this special meeting of council now be adjourned at 8:07 p.m. Any discussion? Councillor Cross?
No discussion.
Councillor Maxwell?
No discussion.
Councillor Olmsted?
No discussion.
Okay, so I'm going to call a vote to adjourn the meeting at 8:07. Councillor Cross, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, I vote yes as well. So the meeting's adjourned at 8:07.
Thank you. That was good talk.
Stay safe, everyone. We'll talk to you
You
again.
too. Say goodbye.
Night.
Bye.
Night.
Night.
Night.